And now, introducing. Imagine I did that? It'd be hilarious. Hi, I'm Mike. Welcome to the new pod, stream, whatever you want to call it. I want to do a live sports podcast. I'm going to try to do it daily. And I don't want to go on and on, but if this is your first time watching, which it is because I've never been on YouTube or Twitch, then I'll explain a little bit about myself. I run a podcast called The Link Podcast. You can find that everywhere, and I'll post the links to everything in the description of the YouTube videos at the very least. But I have loved sports my whole life. I worked at ESPN, and I've been wanting to do this for a while, so I'm not going to bore you with everything, but plenty to cover. We're going to try to do it every week, so I'm figuring that we'll do, I don't know how long, half hour, 15 minutes, 2 hours if something insane happens. Who the fuck knows? But I want to just cover what's happening, basically stay contemporary. Mondays obviously is going to be a lot of football. I want to dive right into that. I also want to give you examples of who I am and what you can expect from this. And the first one I wanted to think of, I love Shaq. Love him. Love him. Greatest basketball player of all time, in my opinion. And maybe the greatest human of all time. Just not a stretch. And The Rock is up there, but, you know, Shaq is number one. I am a firm believer that Shaq, in 1995, when playing for the Magic beat the Bulls in the Eastern Conference Finals to go to the finals that year. And that was the year Jordan came back from his, baseball retirement. And I love basketball. And there's so many apologists for that year for Jordan. Like, oh, he wasn't in shape, he wasn't trying, blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, they had no big men. Like, the Bulls had nobody to deal with Shaq. Nobody. Horace Grant had gone the other way already. And he got traded. And so Shaq would have dominated them anyway. And people never point to that. Everyone's like 6-0 Jordan in the finals. It's like, no, man. Shaq dominated him in his prime, and they lost that series. I don't care that he was on a half a season. It's trash. So anyway, those type of stories you'll hear plenty of. I want to do some episodes that we just dive into all that. And the rest of it will just be what's going on. I want to catch up a little bit since I have 32 years of sports knowledge that I don't get to talk about. But the 75th anniversary team for the NBA came out, and Dwight Howard wasn't on it, and everyone has beaten this to death already. But and honestly, who gives a shit? I get it. And also, they put 76 people on a 75-person list. You couldn't even put a line somewhere. Like, figure it out. But Dwight Howard didn't make it, and it's all everyone was talking about. And I just find it really insane that he didn't make it. It's so stupid. We could look up the stats, but we have enough shit to talk about today. But his stats are outrageous. He made 5 first All-NBA teams in a row, I think. He carried the Magic past LeBron in his prime. It's the same thing I just talked about with Shaq and MJ. It's like, if you beat the greatest player in their prime, you deserve the recognition. It doesn't matter what the situation was. It's crazy. And that Magic Cavs series was awesome. I remember Rashard Lewis hit a buzzer beater in the corner one game. LeBron hit that deep straightaway 3 to hit one of the games where he puts his arm up and runs down the court freaking out. That series was so awesome, and Dwight got the better of LeBron, literally. And also, Dwight went to the Lakers. People started hating him because everyone loves Kobe, which I do too. But he went to the Rockets after that and signed a big contract, and he was going to go play with Harden. That was the big thing. And in that first year, they were awesome. They were, really, really awesome. Could have possibly won. The Spurs were still good back then. It was like, they weren't necessarily favorites, but they were very good. And Dame Lillard in the first round, I think that was either a 2-7 or something like that. And Dame Lillard hits the buzzer beater to win the series. It was like Dame's first Dame time buzzer beater. And if that doesn't happen against the Rockets and Dwight and Harden go on to dominate, Dwight had 30 and 15 in that series. Something fucking ridiculous. If that doesn't happen, then Dwight is looked at totally differently. He goes to a new team. He reinvents himself. The Rockets might win a championship, and who knows what happens? They might still be together. So for him not to make the 75th anniversary team, his story could have been so different. And it's not, I guess. And he's just been a role player since then. But even so, I just found it totally ridiculous. Also, on the note of the NBA, Kemba is a New York Knick. I'm a huge UConn basketball fan. And I graduated the same year as Kemba, went to Houston for the Final Four. It was awesome. It was like the best thing I've ever been to, probably. It was. And yeah, I just am going to talk a lot about Kemba on the Knicks, probably. Another good example of why I'm called Mike the Mush, by the way. My friends have called me this for, I don't know, ever. I have terrible luck. Notoriously terrible. And I put in, what was it? It was a 4-team parlay yesterday. I like gambling. We're going to talk a lot about gambling on here. Sorry, it is what it is. And it was the Patriots against the Jets, the Packers against Washington football team, the Buccaneers against the Bears. All that sounds good. Perfect. And then the Knicks. The Knicks were at home against the Magic, who are awful. Like, awful, awful. Maybe the worst team in the NBA. And the Knicks had just played them in Orlando and beat them by 30. And I hit the first 3 legs, and I'm a mush. I knew what was going to happen before the game even turned on. Knicks are up 15 in the second quarter. Everything seems too good. They blew it. They lost at home to the Magic. I was just getting excited about Knicks season, and then this shit happens. Awful. Couldn't have been worse. But that's just a little morsel of what being the mush is. And you'll probably understand it. I'll probably make some claims on here eventually that are outrageous and or picks for a game and something crazy will happen. Whatever. You'll see. You'll see. Judge for yourself. Anyway, I want to go back to football. Football last night. Yesterday was a weird day. Go back to Thursday. It was even weird. Like, Case Keenum. Is he good? The Broncos are terrible. They're so bad. I really don't believe in them. They beat the Giants, the Jets, and Jacksonville. Okay. I mean, Teddy Two Gloves has not looked that good. You can't turn to Drew Lock. But anyway, Case Keenum comes into that game, University of Houston superstar, breaking all the records in college. He comes in and looks solid, but the Browns still didn't score many points? I don't know what that is. The Browns seemed like a playoff team to me. Maybe. It's hard to factor in like all the shit that's happening in the AFC. We'll look at the standings in a second because it's crazy. There's a lot of good teams. But they have a solid defense, a really good running game. If Baker can get healthy, or Keenum is just better, maybe. I don't know if that's crazy, but maybe. I don't know. They could do damage. Like, they have some people that are going to get healthier. And I knew Case Keenum was going to cover that game. I don't know why. I really couldn't possibly tell you, but I still think I believe in the Browns. But we'll look back at the standings in a second. There was no London game this week. I kind of missed it. I feel like I like the London game now. I don't know when that happened, or how, or why, or if it really is real. But I like waking up. I'm not an early bird. And I like waking up and the game is just starting or on and the day is ready to rock. I can bet something early in the morning that I know I'm going to wake up to. It's great. And some of the games have been terrible, but also 2 terrible teams matched up, which to me is sometimes more fun than one good team against a bad team. For gambling purposes, that's way easier. But with 2 bad teams, like the Jets-Falcons game was pretty hard to watch, actually. Maybe I take it back. The Dolphins played the Jags, right? Yeah, they were pretty bad games, but I kind of miss it. I wish they would put like 2 good teams out there. I was just talking to somebody this weekend about what they should do about London. Like, there should be a team there. Just put a team there. Could you put one team there and have it make sense? Like, does the travel make sense at all? I don't really know if it's possible. If you give a bye week the week after, maybe. Which is what they do now pretty much, but the problem is bye weeks don't exist all year. So if it's weeks 1 through 5 or whatever where there's no byes and then the same at the end of the year, it's like, can you do that? How would you figure out, like, someone's getting screwed. Someone would have to travel there or they would have to travel home unless you give them like long road trips and long homestands. Maybe that makes sense. I don't know. But it would be cool to see someone actually be there. Like, just move Jacksonville there. Nobody likes the Jaguars. People in Florida, first of all, barely deserve an opinion. And secondly, they don't like sports. I lived there for a while, and I would go to Heat games when LeBron was there. And it was like, people would show up in the second quarter, and they would hang out, and it would be like, oh, shit, this is cool. And then they leave by the fourth. And that was like a really good team. And they just don't care. The Rays don't draw fans. The Jaguars don't draw fans. The Dolphins don't draw fans. College football is different, I guess. The Panthers play in like Sunshine, Florida or something, which is like an hour north of Fort Lauderdale in the middle of nowhere. The Orlando Magic are terrible but can beat the Knicks and break my heart on a Sunday night. I mean, who cares about Florida in general? Just move them to London. But yeah, I kind of still miss the London game. I don't know why. I wouldn't hate if it came back. I want to look through the box score, and then we'll probably go through like most of the games that happen and some takes on each of them. But let's see if we can pull up this for you. There we go. Yeah, some of these games, I mean, quick off the top, it's like this game was closer than it should have been. I feel like Washington kind of played the whole game in the Packers' red zone and then just couldn't do anything. Taylor Heineke was just not good. Kind of looked like he was going to be good. His stats actually look kind of okay, too. I hope you guys can read this. And if not, I'll read it aloud. But, you know, still working through how to get this stream to work perfectly. It'll improve, I swear. Yeah, I mean, 25 for 37. The pick was bad. I feel like he fumbled, maybe. Yeah, he lost a fumble. He recovered 2. That's fascinating. Aaron Rodgers looked fine. He just hit Adams all the time. Adams is on the COVID-19 list now. So that means he won't play Thursday against the Cardinals, which is a huge game. I mean, maybe he'll play. He needs 24 hours and 2 negative tests, I think. So I don't really understand how he would make it back. And that game becomes really interesting because Cardinals were already going to be favorites. I haven't looked at the lines. We could look them up in a second. I'll do it now, I guess. But Cardinals minus 3.5. They're better than the Packers. They're not equal on a neutral field. Let's see if we can pull this up. We'll talk about tonight's game later. Green Bay, Arizona. Oh, it already moved. Okay. I was right, though. Started 3.5. It's 6 now. Holy fuck, dude. That's a lot. That's a lot for... I mean, Arizona smashes everyone, I guess. But, I don't know. But without Adams, like, what do they... I don't know. What do they do? That's a weird game now. I need time to think about that. Anyway, the Packers are so good. Like, why do people not believe in the Packers? What's the problem? What is possibly the problem? That, there are my notes for the stream if you want to read them. They're pretty funny. Yeah, why don't people like them? They never do. Like, no one ever believes in them, and then they go in and take care of business always. And they didn't run the ball well at all. I was facing Aaron Jones in fantasy, though, so that felt pretty good. But, yeah, yikes. That's not good. But Adams is just unstoppable, and, like, Washington's just done. They're terrible. I thought they were going to be better this year. I think I bet them for the over for the season. It just didn't work out at all. I wish we got, like, Fitzpatrick on his own team. Not that Heineke's awful. He ran for 10. Oh, he had, like, a 50-yard run, right? Yeah. 10 for 95 running. That's crazy. But yeah, I like Green Bay. I don't see the problem. I really don't. This is where we really should start anyway, but I just decided to go in order because I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, obviously the highlight of this is Chad Henne, 11 for 16. 82 yards. Chadwick. Getting it in there. Padding those career stats. When someone looks back at Chad Henne's stats, they're going to be like, he wasn't that bad. He's terrible. But, man, I mean, what do you say about this? Are the Chiefs done? I mean, I don't think they're finished, but Man, 3-4. I know their schedule is difficult. Let's see what it looks like. They face the Giants on Monday Night Football this week. That's, I mean, at home. If they don't win that by 30, then you really should be alarmed. But the Giants, I don't know. I don't know. I wonder what the spread will be there. We can find out. I'm going to say it should be like 9. It's, oh my God. 13, and it's already down to 10. Yeah, because that's crazy, because the Chiefs don't play defense. But, I mean, what? Look, they don't play defense. We get it. They're like 32nd, 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 31st, and like every statistical thing, whatever. But there's always the thing with them where you're just like, oh, they'll just turn it on and score 25, 24 in a quarter without any problem. And that's failing. It could be 28. And it just hasn't really clicked. Like, they have not turned it on the same way, which is scary. This was the game where you were like, okay, you lost a couple. You're going to a super beatable defense. Titans defense is not good. And Mahomes did not look great. Something's wrong. 20 for 35. 1 pick, no touchdowns. Has he had games without a passing touchdown? I already had his stats open because I was looking at it before. Game logs, career. Yeah, against Jacksonville in his rookie year, 2018. And then at Detroit, 2019. And that's it until now. It's rare. And then they play Green Bay after New York. They go at Vegas. That's a losable game. They beat Vegas. Or no, they didn't beat Vegas. They haven't played Vegas. So they play them twice. I don't know if they're going to beat them twice. Against Dallas? I mean, what happens if you win this? What are they, 3-4? You win this. You're 4-4. You definitely might lose. I don't know. These are all losable games. They're all winnable games. But, man, if you lose to the Cowboys, everyone's going to be freaking out. And then they have an uphill. Like, what if they win one of these 3? Right? Then they're 4-4, 5-4, 5-6. They're going to need 9 wins minimum to make it in the AFC. That means they need to win at least 4 of these final 6, which is Denver, Vegas, Chargers, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Denver. I mean, you beat Denver twice, and then you need to beat 2 out of Vegas, Chargers, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati. You can beat Pittsburgh. You better beat Vegas. And then if you lose to the Chargers and at Cincinnati, who's awesome, we'll talk about them in a minute. I don't know. You have 9 wins. You still might not make it. The AFC's really good. So I don't know what the problem is. They just look like... It looks like Mahomes is just trying to do too much. He wants to... I'm not trying to blame him. He's also got, like, ridiculous stats this year. He was on pace for, like, 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns before this week. I know he had a really bad week, but... you know, it's not like total panic time or anything. He's turning it over more. I think he's just trying to make big plays for no reason when he can just take the easy ones and still dominate. But this is still his game log. But, I mean, even so, here's his total stats. Yeah, he has a higher completion percentage than he did before. He already has 2,000 yards. The 9 picks are really alarming. But 18 touchdowns, it's like their offense is still generally fine, but it just didn't do anything at any point. It was halftime, and I was like, this would be a good time to bet the Chiefs, thinking that they would just dominate the second half. And not only did they not dominate, they just didn't score the fucking football. They can't run the ball at all. And the only plays they get are the big, crazy ones to Kelsey and Hill. And it's like they're forgetting how to take the 5-yard pass. I don't know. It's weird. Although I guess we should give... Here's why I didn't give the Titans credit. Normally, I would want to start this with the Titans because good for them. You lost to the Jets. You lost to the Jets. It's bad. They had no receivers, but they lost to the New York Football Jets. I'll do 30 on Mike White in a little while, but yeah, it's bad. But every other game they've looked pretty good. They're 5-2. And it's like, Tannehill's fine. He's not going to lose you games, generally. Derrick Henry is the greatest running back. I mean, not ever, but, like, at what point are we starting to talk about this is the best run a running back has ever had? Right here. These 4 years. And even this one was like pedestrian. Let's talk about these 3 years. 1,500 yards, 16 touchdowns, 20, 27, and 17. And he's on pace to shatter both of those this year. He's only played 7 games. He's going to get 10 more games. And he's already almost halfway to this. More. I mean, he's more than halfway to the stats he had last year, which already blew the roof off of everything. He feels like Jim Brown. Like, he's like Jim Brown. Hey, Pork. How you doing, bud? Yeah, he's bigger and stronger than everybody. What do you do? When you turn it on, you're like, oh, just give him the ball every play because they can't tackle him. It's like when you see highlight videos of Pee Wee football or something, go Red Devils, and he's like some kid is just way bigger and stronger and better than everyone and just runs through arm tackles. That's what it feels like watching Derrick Henry in the NFL. At what point does this slow down? Or is this just who he's going to be until health gets to him, like Adrian Peterson or something? Like, he's only 27. Isn't it weird that we didn't know this in the draft? I don't remember. He was a second-round pick, like early second round, I think. When was he drafted? 2016 round 2. The Jared Goff draft. All right. Wentz, Bosa, Zeke. Makes sense. Ramsey's good. Staley's good. DeForest Buckner. All right. At least they didn't pay him. Yeah, there's a lot of good people on this list, actually. Sheldon Rankins, New York Jets. Laramie Tunsil exists. Paxton Lynch. Paxton Lynch. I hope Pax sees this eventually. You'll know if he does. Or he'll know if he does. But anyway, yeah, you get him where? Reggie Ragland. Former New York Jet also. Did he go? Oh, here. 45th pick to the Titans. And you're like, was he even the first running back taken? He might have been. Yeah. Oh, no. Zeke. Okay. He's better than Zeke. By a lot. None of this is the point. He's just so unstoppable. It's ridiculous. So I don't know if I want to face the Titans. Like, if they rip off a lot of wins in a row, I don't know. A.J. Brown and Julio. Like, Julio hasn't done anything, but he's still a threat to do something. They don't have a third receiver or a tight end that I like. Maybe they'll do something by the trade deadline, which is next week, I think. Yeah, I like them for some reason. I bet their season total over. It was like 7.5, which is stupid. They're good. Let's go back here. And Falcons, Dolphins, no one wants to talk about at all. Kyle Pitts is good. Young Hoku is the best kicker in the league. Tua's bad. Dude, what happened? I felt like Tua was going to be good. Yes. You don't even see arm strength anymore. Thanks for the follow. You don't see arm strength anymore at all from Tua. And at Alabama, that's like all he did. He came in for Hurts and just slang it down the field. I don't know. Flores might need to be fired. They're 1-6. That team should not be 1-6. Like, they have more talent than that. I know he's bad, but and are they going to trade for Deshaun Watson? Fuck that guy. I hate all the abusive football players that just get away with it. You're going to learn this. Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt. I just hate them all. Fuck all of them. And Deshaun Watson too. But what do the Dolphins do? And if you trade for him, your season's already over now, so why do you even want him? I don't even think they have their first-round pick. They traded it for Jalen Waddle to move up in the draft this year, I'm pretty sure. So they can't even tank. So maybe they do trade for him now? They get desperate? I don't know. I don't know what they have to offer. They don't even have their first-round pick. Anyway, no one cares about this game at all. I do have the Falcons season total under. I think it's like 7.5. And now they've won 3 games, which is ridiculous. But 2 of them are the Dolphins and the Jets. So let's talk Jets football. Let's talk college injury ruined him. Yeah. It might have. Tua's injuries are fucking terrible, yeah. Yeah, maybe he's just shot. I don't know. I just still feel like I wish I could see him somewhere else, but that's not going to happen until this contract runs out. Or he gets traded. If he goes to Houston and he's just like a better version of Deshaun Watson, then... Not Deshaun Watson, of Tyrod Taylor. Then that's cool. Like, when Tyrod was in, they were competing, and Tua's better than that, you would think, and you can just let him get out of the pocket and let it rip. I don't know. Who cares? Jets, Patriots, that's the game to talk about. That's the game. Mike White football. Who knew Mike White was the backup for the Jets? Nobody. I think he played at Western Kentucky. Don't know. He never played before yesterday. Zach Wilson already getting hurt. I mean, I knew they were going to lose. I bet against the Jets yesterday. But, like, bro, you can't give up 50. 50 to Mac Jones. Brandon Bolden was open every play. Damian Harris looked like a Greek god. Or Roman god, or whichever ones are stronger. I mean, Kendrick Bourne. Didn't he throw a touchdown? He did. Brian Hoyer came in and went 3 for 4. I mean, what are you going to do? There were, it was the most scared I ever was. It was 31-7 right before the half. I don't want to watch the highlights of Mike White. Stop this. Mike White goes 1 for 1 with a touchdown, first of all. That was amazing. It was almost a moment where I was like, yes! Let's go Jets. We're going to see a Mike White 4-game run where he dominates and then becomes terrible. We didn't. 31-7 at halftime, 20 seconds left. They're getting killed on the road. They're getting absolutely destroyed. The game's over. Just get to the locker room, run the ball. The backup QB is in. They throw it from their own 20 or something. They threw it. Everyone thought I was going to don't even take a knee or just run a lazy play. And the announcers are like, shocked, and then they go, well, why not, I guess. And he throws it. The ball tips off one of the Patriots players, I don't remember who, bounces right in front of another Patriot who dives, and it goes off his hands, and he almost picks it, and they go, well, I guess that's why not. And I was like, come on, man. Come on. Just run the ball. Just stop. Just run the ball for every play for the rest of the year and go get another draft pick. And they have Seattle's draft pick, so that's cool. But Jesus. Zach Wilson looked awful and got hurt. Also, they didn't throw a flag for roughing the passer on the hit that Zach Wilson had. I can't play it. I wish I could. But you can go watch the highlight of it. And it's ridiculous. I watched Kyler Murray. I think I retweeted it on my Twitter account, @MikeMushSports. Kyler Murray 2 weeks ago got shoved in the back, like, pretty light. And they called 15 yards. He didn't even go to the ground. 15-yard penalty for touching the quarterback, I guess. Wilson got hit hard, and they don't do shit. Jets, it's just awful being a Jets fan. It's just so bad. There's nothing good about it. Best receiver, Michael Carter and Ty Johnson. Nobody knows who these guys are. I mean, they don't have bad receivers. Corey Davis, Jamison Crowder, Elijah Moore, Denzel Mims should be a solid enough 4. And Michael Carter and Ty Johnson get 16 targets. 16. Fuck, dude. Everyone could have had Mac Jones at the 15th overall pick in the NFL draft. And the Dolphins traded for a receiver, and the Jets took Zach Wilson. And Mac Jones looks awesome. And life is bad as a Jets fan. Are the Pats good? Probably not. They scored 54, but it's the Jets, and they beat the Jets twice. They're 1-4 in non-Jets games. And they lost to the Dolphins. I'm not a buyer. But, you know, what do I know? What else? Giants, Panthers. This was a bad week of football. Sam Darnold. Let me talk about this for a second. Sam Darnold was a road favorite in the NFL this week. Why did everyone and their mother bet the Panthers? There was so much action on the Panthers. All the pick'em pools, all the bets. The public is hammering the Panthers. I get it. The Giants are terrible. They are terrible. They have nobody. I went to the game against Dallas, which was awesome. And every one of their players got hurt. Jones got crushed, looked like he had a concussion. Speaking of which, I didn't even mention the Mahomes concussion thing. We got to go back to the Chiefs eventually. But Mahomes got absolutely smacked. Oh my God, it looked bad. He looked drunk getting off the field. And then he passes concussion protocol? How? I mean, what are we even doing? Why are we possibly even... what's the point of any of it? He had to be carried off the field, and then 10 minutes later, he comes back and is fine. And I watched the same thing happen to Daniel Jones. In the Dallas game, he got crushed, and you're telling me 1 week later, when he couldn't even stand, he's like trying to find a wall as he's walking off the field. Meanwhile, there is none. He is playing 6 days later and taking hits, and this is 2 weeks after, and he took big hits in this game too. I just don't understand it. Anyway, Sam Darnold was a road favorite. What is anyone... The drugs that Vegas is on, I just need... Why? I just loved the Giants this week for no reason other than Sam Darnold is terrible, and he is. People thought he was good because he ran the ball a couple times when everyone chased down Christian McCaffrey on a play action. No, he's so bad. I loved PJ Walker in the XFL too. Me and my friend Sal loved him. And I mean, 3 for 14. Jesus. Panthers are not a good football team. They traded a second-round pick for Sam Darnold. At least there's that for the Jets. What are you doing? What are you doing? And people believed in it. Good Lord. Not good. Giants also not good. Gonna get smashed by the Chiefs next week. Bengals Ravens. This is the game to really talk about. The Bengals are good. I'm gonna remove the question mark. The Bengals are good. The Bengals are good. They're a playoff team. They're 5-2. They lost 2 games that were like close. The Packers, yeah. They lost to the Bears, which is ugly, but that was a 3-point game in Soldier Field. They're both, they lost at home to the Packers, but that's Rodgers, and it was a 3-point game. They're really good. Burrow looks healthy. Jamar Chase might be the most electric player in the NFL right now. Pause. I don't know. 8 for 201 and a touch against Marlon Humphrey, who's one of the best corners in the league. I don't know. Joe Mixon's a piece of shit. Don't like him. Don't think he's good, but, he's fine. They could upgrade at running back. Samaje Perine. Better than LaMichael Perine, who's a Jets running back who still doesn't even see the field. Yeah, I just like this team. Their defense is good, too. Jesse Bates is good. Ogunjobi is good. He's had a really good year, 1.5 sacks. Sam Hubbard has gotten a lot of sacks. Von Bell, I like at safety. Both their safeties are good, Bates and Bell. It's really nice, B&B. They're good. They're fast. They looked faster than the Ravens this week, which is weird when you're seeing someone play against Lamar. And Lamar didn't look good. 15 for 31. He ran for 12 for 88. That was really good. But you got to score more than 17 against this Bengals D, although they are good. The game just got out of hand. It was close most of the time. And then it felt like the Ravens just folded, which is funny because the week before the Ravens smashed the Chargers. What was the final of that game? 34-6. And it was like the same feeling game. You're like, what? And the Ravens have been on both ends of it. I don't know what to make of them, but I like the Bengals better, obviously, he says, after they win 41-17 against the other team. Yeah. I like Marquise Brown, though, but he's no Jamar Chase. They have T. Higgins, who's really good. Tyler Boyd is like an afterthought now, even though he's really good. He's like very good. Some teams would love to have him as their second receiver. Maybe. But yeah, CJ Uzuma like catches long touchdowns all the time. Didn't pick him up in fantasy, but I should have. I definitely should have. Yeah, I don't hate either of these teams. I think the Ravens could make the playoffs. But I think the Bengals will make the playoffs. I think they're the best team in the division. And with this win in Baltimore, if they take care of business at home against Baltimore, what's the schedule look like? That'll be week. This is 18, 17, 16. Day after Christmas. I mean, that'll be a big game. But I think they can win the division for sure. I like the way this team is going. Good coach. Young coach that everyone hated, but he seems to be figuring it out. A lot of weapons, good D. I like the Bengals. I'm saying it. Raiders-Eagles? Raiders are way better than the Eagles. This spread was so stupid. This was one of my bigger bets this week. And and the easiest. The Eagles aren't good. They traded Zach Ertz, who's not a world beater, but he's a piece. They have no receivers that I care about. The kid that they have is fine. I don't even remember. Devontae Smith. He's fine. He hasn't looked as good as Chase or anything like that. He hasn't been a difference maker. Hurts is up and down. They have nothing. The Raiders look good, and once they fired Gruden, they've looked better. I like the Raiders. They might be a playoff team. The Eagles are not a playoff team, and you were getting the Raiders at home. I know Darren Waller got scratched, which moved the line like 2 points, which is ridiculous. A tight end doesn't move the line 2 points. But, yeah, I mean, they were like -1 by kickoff. Like, what are we doing? This is a good team versus a bad team at home. What the fuck? Derek Carr's really good. He went 31 for 34. I mean, he's really good. People forget he's had good seasons. That season with Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree, they were good. They had a really good offensive line. That they won like 10 games. They went to the playoffs. Like, yeah, they didn't win the Super Bowl. I don't even think they won a game, but they've had success. Like, Carr is not a problem. Jacobs got hurt again, I think, but he's always hurt. Drake is a good backup. Jalen Richard's still there. They have a couple guys that catch passes. They really need a better receiver, but Hunter Renfro's fine. Brian Edwards, Zay Jones. They need like a Ruggs is awesome as the downfield, but they need like an outside possession receiver. But I like them. I like the Raiders. I wrote down a couple of notes. One of the things I didn't hit on here was Devontae Adams. I brought up in my group chat, is it possible that he's the third best receiver ever? I know that's like I should have a hot take graphic or something. I'll put myself in full mode for this. Okay. Let's do this. Jerry Rice is unquestioned. Randy Moss is unquestioned. I don't see how either of those two would be moved off the top pedestal. But as for third, it's like, I got to go back to the stats. You got to see the stats. You got to see the stats. Devontae Adams and Terrell Owens. That's what we're talking about. It's got to be what we're talking about. I don't know who else. I always thought of T.O. as the next guy. But Adams has put up, let's take it from here. Well, I mean, yeah, it's crazy. The yardage numbers aren't really there, huh? But the touchdowns are crazy. 65 TDs. Owens had 153. So that means Adams is, yeah, not even halfway. And he's 29 with some injury issues. Okay, T.O. has the longevity thing. But, yeah, the yardage numbers favor T.O. also, huh? Look at that. He was putting up more yards in his best years. 1,416. He's never had 1,400. But he has had 18 touchdowns. For some reason, watching him just feels like he makes harder catches, which is weird because Aaron Rodgers is, T.O. had great quarterbacks too. But, yeah, I don't know. I just thought about it, and it's got to be... He's got to be approaching that, right? Because consistently every week, at least a list of, like, who do we need to game plan around the most? Adams is pretty high atop that list. He has to be. He's so dominant. They can throw to him anytime and make contested catches. Maybe that's what it is. Like, or he's open a lot too. I don't know. I just watch him and I go, nobody's on this guy's level, really. He's so far above and beyond. And I guess with the receivers, it changes week to week. And Owens did it for so long. I mean, 11, 13, 14, 15 years. And even in Cincinnati the last year, he had 983 yards and 9 TDs at 37 years old. So Adams has to age really gracefully for another decade. But if he does, we're starting to talk about that, which is rarefied air. Anyway, I don't know how I got here. We went to full cam mode, though, for a second. We tried it. Also, the Washington football team's kicker is named Blewett, and he missed a lot of field goals. So, that's fun. That's fun for everybody. Anyway, we love the Bengals. We love the Bengals. We love the Bengals. What game was next? Lions-Rams? Why was this so close? I liked Jared Goff when he was drafted. I gotta admit it. I even liked him on the Rams. He's not good, though. He's not good. I still think he's not terrible. He didn't look great this week. He kept them in it, though. They're 0-7, but they're a frisky 0-7. They are a frisky... I think Jared Goff said, or somebody said that, like, we're better than our record or something in the post-game conference. Like, yeah. I hope so. Stafford looked good again. Cooper Kupp might be... I was just talking up Adams, but Cooper Kupp might be having the best season of anyone in the NFL. He is truly unstoppable. He's open every play. He's like the Jerry Rice to the Adams thing, where Adams is more like Moss. I know I just compared Cooper Kupp to Jerry Rice, but I don't care. Like, he runs routes really, really crisply and well and catches balls when he's open, and Stafford can get him the ball. This Rams team is really good. They're 6-1. People aren't talking about them because they lost to the Cardinals, who are 7-0. I guess maybe that's why. Or they're just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I feel like they were talked about earlier in the year. They beat the Bucks. This team's good. Like, they're a Super Bowl contender for sure. And the Lions hung around with them. So good for them. DeAndre Swift is really good. Did he kill someone? Allegedly? I don't know. We're going to find out. Did Ray Lewis? I don't know. Allegedly. Allegedly not. But yeah, he looked great. Khalif Raymond. Who are you? Where'd you go to school, bud? Holy Cross. It's man of God. Yeah. Lions are cool. I don't know. They're weird. They almost beat the Vikings. They played the Niners within 8. Niners aren't good. We'll talk about that. Lost by 2 to the Ravens on like a 60 million yard field goal that hit the crossbar and went in. Lost to the Bears by 10, though. They haven't gotten really blown out. They got blown out against the Bengals, but the Bengals are really good. So, I mean, get out of here. Autoplay just needs to never, ever be a thing. I need to not use ESPN, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Lions. Frisky. Rams Super Bowl hype, though, I'll buy into. I'll buy a stock of that. Cardinals Super Bowl hype. I love the Cardinals. Love them. Was wearing a Larry Fitzgerald shirt yesterday. My parents live in Arizona. I'm big on the Cardinals. Second favorite team. I have loved them for years. Kyler Murray's elite if he stays healthy. They smashed the Texans. They should have. They have unlimited weapons. Edmonds and Connor. And now Ertz at tight end. You got 4 good receivers. AJ Green looks revitalized. Hopkins is also in the conversation with Adams and all those other guys for best receiver in the league. What don't you like? Christian Kirk scores every week. Rondale Moore looks really good for when they don't want to sign one of these guys like Christian Kirk next year. I don't need to look at the box score of this game. They were really good. Same with this one. The 2 huge spreads they covered, but one of them didn't. Rams didn't. 2 out of 3 covered, though. It's pretty good. I figured Vegas was bumping up those spreads so high. They were ridiculous. This one was 20, I think. This one was only 13. Bucks smashed. Brady's... Hey. Brady. He kisses his son on the mouth with open lips. It's weird. I can't. I hate Tom Brady. He's tortured my whole life as a Jets fan. I just can't. But he's still slinging it, and he looks like he's angry. Like he wants to score every time. He had 4 touchdowns this week. They were dominating the game. It was 21-0. The game was over. They could have handed it off 1,000,000 times. He still threw 36 times and only let Blaine Gabbert get 3 snaps. Shout out to Blaine. 2 for 3, bud. Way to go. But yeah, 4 TDs, 3 of them to Evans, I think. Godwin snagged 1. Brown wasn't even playing. Gronk wasn't even playing. If you have Brown and Gronk on any... I hate Antonio Brown, by the way, which is on brand. If you have those 2 on any other team and you remove them, you're like, they're fucked. This team still has their best 2 weapons, Godwin and Evans. I mean, come on. They have O.J. Howard. Tyler Johnson's okay. Fournette. Ronald Jones is really bad, but actually got some yardage in crunch time, although I think he fumbled. Yeah, he did. Yikes. Yeah, I mean, it's... Bucks are going to win the Super Bowl. I also do a year-long fantasy league where we draft. It's called Ultimate Fantasy League, where we draft teams in each sport. So you get a hockey team, you get a football team instead of drafting players. And me and my friend Porky, who was in the chat before, Blaine's here. Blaine is here. Nice. Porky and I share a team, and we have the Tampa Bay Bucks, which killed me to draft Tom Brady in anything, but... You know, sometimes you got to do it. You got to go for it. Bucks are good. Not a hot take. This game, Glad Blaine and Porky were both in the chat at some point. They're both 49ers fans, and it wasn't a good night. It was pouring raining. I asked them both 2 weeks ago, and I asked them again last night, was that the last pass we watched Jimmy Garoppolo throw as the starting quarterback for the 49ers? And it wasn't, but it still might be. He's bad. He's not good. They paid him for no reason. They know he's not good because they gave up 3 first-round picks to get Trey Lance, who still isn't playing, which at this point they're 2-4. They're banged up. They don't have all their guys. Like, just, it's time. Just let Trey Lance be bad if you need to, but like he'll be better next year for it. Jimmy is not doing you anything. He doesn't look tradable. You're just gonna need to let that contract run out probably, or trade him for a 6th-round pick or something, or cut him because it's the NFL. But I mean, how do you lose? They looked so bad. That never really seemed competitive after the first quarter. Carson Wentz, I'm still a believer somehow. I don't know why. I really don't know why. But I've liked him for a while. If he's healthy and that offensive line is okay, Taylor is a workhorse. He's hard to put down. Elijah Mitchell looked really good too. It was pouring raining. Who cares about this game? Michael Pittman looked good though. But yeah, I don't know. If you're the Niners, it just feels really bad to get beaten at home like that. And then you start to look at the schedule and you're like, at Bears is a losable game to me. Home versus the Cardinals and then the Rams is like, if you lose these 3 in a row, ooh, you got to beat the Bears. This is like kitchen sink game. You got to beat the Bears. NFC wildcard playoff pictures weird. Yeah. Let's look at the standings because we're pretty much through all the games. I don't need to talk too much about the Niners because the AFC playoff. Let's go to playoff. Although this isn't exactly how it'll shake out, but you're talking about NFC. The AFC's really good. Like, it's stacked with teams. We'll go back to that. NFC. Cardinals they're going to win the division, right? I mean, well, the Rams. Cardinals and Rams are both going to make the playoffs, which means the Niners and Geno Smith Seahawks play tonight. They'll lose at home to the Saints. I don't know why that spread isn't bigger. Geno Smith is really bad, and the Seahawks, we'll talk about that in a minute. They're bad. But those 2 teams are going to make the playoffs. Dallas looks really good. They're going to make it. I don't see it actually will shake out with these top 5, right? Like, these 5 are making it. Without question. But you said wild card, and you're right. It's yeah. The Saints, if they win tonight, are 4-2. I mean, maybe they turn it around. Jameis figures it out. Kamara's really good. Top 5 are good. Yeah, exactly. Agreed. But the Vikings, I don't believe in. I'm not a Kirk Cousins guy. Didn't sign with the Jets, thank God. That's a 3-year-old take. Falcons are bad. If the Falcons make the playoffs, I mean, come on. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you're right about the Niners if that's what you're talking about. It's like Seahawks, if Russ comes back, I could see them sneaking up here. The Saints I could see making the playoffs, but they're in the Bucs division, so that's hard. Panthers are not good. They're going to lose more games from now on than before. Sam Darnold's their quarterback. Washington's awful. Eagles are terrible. I mean, there's nothing here. Some of these teams, they need to make it. 7 teams make it. I don't know. Even if you give the Saints, because if they win tonight at the Seahawks, if they lose, I mean, maybe the Seahawks come back. Maybe both. Maybe the Niner season isn't dead. I would put them ahead of Washington, Philly, Giants, Lions. Seahawks is close. I would put them ahead of the Panthers. The Bears could make the playoffs. Saints are the best, yeah. Yeah, it's awful teams. But also there's like 11 weeks left. I mean, who knows what happens? Anything could happen. The team could change. The Vikings could go on a run where Dalvin Cook starts running like Derrick Henry or some shit. I don't know. But the AFC is much better. Although the top of the NFC is good. But the AFC playoff picture is wild. Yeah, Lance would have to be good, which he didn't look very good. I don't see how the Niners make it either, but someone has to make it. Who's going to make it? I mean, Seahawks, yeah, but that's if he's back week 10, they say. And if they lose tonight, they're 2-5. If they lose next, who do they play? They play the Jaguars next week. That's a winnable game, even if it's Geno Smith. Maybe. I can't believe that word just came out of my mouth. You lose to the Packers, and then he's back for the Cardinals. I don't know, man. Even if you beat the Jags and you lose tonight, you're 2-5, 3-5, 3-6 when Russ comes back. I don't know. And that's assuming you beat the Jags. They got to win tonight. It's a big game. We'll talk about it. But the AFC playoff picture, Bengals are in first. Would you look at that? And the Raiders. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? The Bills are good. They had a bye this week, so that's why they're down. The Titans look good, but they lost to the Jets. The Raiders are the Raiders. The Bengals are the Bengals. The Bills are the cream of the crop, I guess. I hate Josh Allen, though. I don't think he's good. Can't throw the ball straight. So that's not good. Ravens are good, but they just got smashed by the Bengals. So if that's a playoff matchup, like, I don't know. And Chargers are good. They got smashed by the Ravens, who got smashed by the Bengals. Transitive property, math lessons. That's what you get here on the streams. The Browns are still not bad. They're going to get healthier. They're so good. Dearness Johnson came into that game and ran like crazy. If Darnold figures it out, no. You lost me at if Darnold figures it out. Christian McCaffrey in the defense, yeah. They got Gilmore too. Yeah, I don't know. Carolina, I can't. They're 3-4 because they got some wins early, but Sam Darnold won't be a playoff quarterback. Yeah, exactly. Breaking news: Darnold isn't figuring it out. Correct. He's not. He's never going to. He's not good. The Jets got a second-round pick for a guy that's never been good. Can we look up Sam Darnold stats? Because he's just bad at football. He's never. 61.9 is his best completion percentage. Last year he was 59. I know he had Adam Gase, but these yardage numbers are putrid. Nobody throws for 3,000 yards that has all 5 fingers, and even JPP could throw better than that. Well, one of Geno Smith, Darnold, Matt Ryan, or Kirk Cousins will make it most likely. Yeah, or Fields. But, yeah, Kirk Cousins is the best of that group. I hate to say that because I don't like Kirk, but at least he's average. Maybe the Vikings are the best team there. We might be just overlooking this because they're just better. Their defense isn't terrible. Yeah, some people like the Vikings, some people don't. I feel that. But I don't see how they're worse than any of these teams. Dalvin Cook, if healthy, they have Jefferson, they have Thielen. Cousins just don't blow it. They can't hit field goals. They blow every game. Like, they'll get to the playoffs and lose in heartbreaking fashion, no doubt about it. But if these 7 teams were the playoff teams, it wouldn't shock me at all. Unless the Seahawks is the one that I could see, like, they could come back if Russ and win every game that he plays. I guess. I don't know. Let's talk about tonight's game quickly. We're almost on for an hour here. Yeah, Saints Seahawks. What's the spread at for this game? It's 5.5 in some spots. Yeah. Yeah, Seattle has no running back, right? They have 2 good receivers, but with a quarterback that can't get them the ball. If New Orleans can't win this game, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can't lose to Geno Smith. I don't care if you're home. No running back. Just take the receivers out of it. Just play 2 high safeties. Let Geno Smith dink and dunk. He can't do that. He's not going to be good. They're not going to run the ball. Like, you can just play deep umbrella defense and win this game without any issue. I don't know why they haven't let Jameis throw it deep. They don't have any receivers. I think they signed, who's the guy they used to have? Who was the guy they used to have that was a burner down the field that they just signed? Oh, Kenny Stills. I beat myself to it. Kenny Stills they signed. And he's going to, play, I guess. Jameis might throw it deep to him. Weird Kenny Stills touchdown prop bet for tonight if you like that. Yeah, I don't know. If New Orleans can't win this, 5 is a lot. Like, this game might be close. Kamara should just run down their throat. Seattle can't stop anyone. They're awful. Jamal Adams trade, another one that the Jets win out on. Although I still like Adams, I just think he needs to be surrounded by good coverage people to stand out because he's really a big linebacker. and they don't have any good coverage people, so it looks bad. But yeah, this is a test game for New Orleans. They need to win. This is a must win. You can't lose on the road to Geno Smith. And Seattle trying to keep hopes alive. That crowd might be hype. I don't know. Weird game. Over-under's very low also, which I would hammer the over here. Just because that's a low. That's what the line was in last night's Storm game between the Colts and the Niners. I mean, New Orleans should be able to score, right? And if Seattle wants to keep up, I don't know. I just think New Orleans is not an awful team. Seattle is an awful team without Russ, and with Russ he can pull magic, but even then they lose. So this is a teaser game to me, like tease New Orleans down to the money line or just take the money line. I don't know if I trust them to cover 5 on the road in a hostile place, but I don't know. Also, note on the Niners that I forgot to say, Kyle Shanahan off a bye just got smoked by Carson Wentz and Frank Reich. Are we ready to give up that experiment? I mean, I kind of am. I know that's quick, and people think he's, like, good, but I looked up his career record before. I think I heard it on Bill Simmons' podcast or something. Yeah, they were talking about it today. He's 31 and 39 in his career, Kyle Shanahan, as coach of the Niners. And they're injured every year, but, like, at what point is that just who you are? Like, Kittle's awesome. I love him, but you're always hurt. The calf injury is just an every year thing. And if you're always hurt, you're just always hurt. And if you can't coach the team beyond that, then it's not going to get any better. And you have a losing record. You came off a bye. You're this genius. And all you do is split the tight end out wide and throw a wide receiver screen to Debo, and he breaks 100 tackles. That doesn't make you a genius. Debo's just a superstar. And I love Debo Samuel, and he's amazing. And people that don't recognize it are going to recognize it eventually. But anyway, I would fire Kyle Shanahan, I think. I'm ready. They lose one more bad game. They lose to the Bears. Hot seat. We talked Monday Night Football. What we didn't talk about is the World Series, which is ridiculous because it's the World Series. And let us know who you're betting tonight so I can go with the opposite. Hashtag Mush is strong. That makes sense. But yeah, I like the Saints. So I guess, look, I like the Saints. I'm going to take the Saints money line probably. And if you want to voluntarily bet on Geno Smith to prove that I'm a mush, maybe it'll work out for you. It definitely could, but it's Geno Smith, and I just won't. Same way I won't bet Sam Darnold as a road favorite. I won't bet Geno Smith as a home dog or anything because former Jets quarterbacks. I won't bet Jets quarterbacks currently either. Anyway, World Series. These odds make sense. Astros are minus 145 to win the series. I think it's priced in. They should be a little higher than that. I think it's priced in that everybody hates them. So, I don't know. I like the Braves at these odds. I just would never root for the Astros. I think you're just a trash person if you're rooting for the Astros. I understand I have a lot of Mets fans friends, so they can't root for the Braves. That's fine. But rooting actively for the Astros is just awful. Just don't root for anyone. Yeah. I don't know. Baseball has obviously fallen pretty far by the wayside. If I'm talking about the Jets and the Niners for 45 minutes before it. But I'm excited for this series. The Braves are fun. The Astros are fun to hate. So it'll be cool to get on the side of the Braves. Are we allowed to do the chop? I don't know. But yeah. Go Braves. I guess that starts Tuesday. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. But it's interesting that these are what the odds are. I wonder what the odds are for the first game. Neither of these teams have any pitchers at all. Charlie Morton versus Framber Valdez. I mean, they have pitchers, but they don't have, like, lights-out guys. It's weird. It's going to be a lot of scoring, I would imagine. Over 8 sounds good to me for Game 1. But that's tomorrow. We'll get to that. Anyway, I had Mike White stats open. Would you look at that? Mike White football, New York Jets quarterback, starting next week. Maybe, unless they go trade for Joe Flacco or something. South Florida, started as a Bull. Look at that. Transferred to Western Kentucky, and wow. Okay. 43-63, 37 touchdowns, and 7 picks. Mike White football. He wasn't afraid. Anyway, That's all I got. We're going to try to do this every day. We'll see how it goes. Follow me on social at Mike Mush Sports on Twitter and Instagram. The Twitch channel is Mike the Mush. The YouTube channel is Mike the Mush. So for people that are watching on one, go follow on the other. It'll be fun to see everyone in the chat on Twitch. So I hope you join on there. But if you can't watch it on YouTube. I'll upload them every day. And yeah, that's a wrap. Shaq's my favorite person. I hate the Jets. The Knicks let me down. I'm a mush. You get it. You get it. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.